test?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay.
Hello. Is this mic working too?
Should be. Yeah, it is. Okay. We broke it, Keita. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm all set.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you. So, yes, my name is Edward. I'll be doing a single segment run of all 3 leagues in FZC. So, what I do at the start of every race is I overheat the Fire Stingray. This essentially allows me to blast out in front of the other 3 CPUs, and essentially I get a double bump from the Blue Falcon, and that helps me get up to my top speed much more quickly than normal. Ooh, Fox. And then, yeah, some tracks I'll do a Falcon and a Wild Goose Bump, depending on how much space I have to maneuver around the track. One of the basic techniques that I'll be using in this game is called blast tapping. Basically, when you're just tapping on the accelerator, and that's... Ooh, yeah, I don't have a super jet for that. So essentially what you're doing is getting the Fire Stingray to get under 478 kilometers per hour so it can turn quicker. And also by not even holding the accelerator, you turn even a little bit more quickly, but you also tap because you want to keep your top speed from dropping too much. Yeah, super jets. These are little turbos I use. Give me a little extra speed, allow me to cut through walls and dirt without losing speed. While using super jets, I also do a little technique that's called brake tapping. Essentially what I'm doing is creating a higher overall average speed for when using the super jet. So what you might see is that the super jet cycles your speed from 562 kilometers per hour to 478. So by hitting the brake at about 520, you increase the rate of deceleration, let go of it at 478 and bring it right back up to 562 again. So you just go a little bit faster, and overall that doesn't save a whole lot of time, maybe a few frames per S-Jet, and depending on how many brake taps you can actually get in, and more or less they end up being more useful for fast laps where you use 4 super jets in 1 lap. Alright, so for the ending here, I'm going to let Fox pass me.
That was close.
Yeah, can get a little precarious sometimes. It's a bit random with the rubber banding. But yeah, essentially you do that because the cutscene for first place finish is, what is it again? 450 frames, and for a second, third place finish it's 360. So that's a difference of 90 frames, which adds up to 1.5 seconds. Overall though, you only end up saving maybe about half a second because of having to slow down. You do it on most tracks. Tracks you don't do it on are the final track of each league, because of it's the same no matter what, the credits at the end. And there's a few other courses, Deathwind 1, 2, and Red Canyon. And most of those just have to do with how the CPUs are rubber banding behind you. They just aren't able to catch up quickly enough to make them consistent or a consistently safe strat to do. What else? I'm just trying to list everything off the top of my head here that I can think of. Timer in the game. NTSC timer reads. So the way the NTSC version of the game works, timer alternates 1/100th of a second, or it goes 1/100th of a second one frame and 2 the other frame, and it alternates back and forth between those. You do that enough times, you get up to 60 frames, you only get 9/10ths of a second of game time for every 1 second of real time. As a result of this, when you're doing time attack, or actually what happens is, the way the game works is you pause it, it could possibly throw off the timing for that. So you might advance 1/100th one frame, and if you pause it and unpause it at the right spot, it'll do 1/100th again. So you have to never pause the game, or otherwise it'll break the timer and basically make for a bad time.
No, but that's only relevant for individual time attacks.
Right.
So in a real-time speedrun, you just lose time if you pause.
What else is there?
CPU bounces, maybe?
CPU, for the openers, you mean?
Yeah, like there's on some tracks you use the Blue Falcon twice, and some tracks you use Blue Falcon and Wild Goose.
Right, yeah, it's like you'll see on like Port Town 1 and 2, I'll use Falcon and Pico, and that's in large part due to the amount of space that's on the track. You only have enough time to get those 2 bumps versus the extra amount of time you would need to get the Falcon to catch up to you for a second bump. Some other tracks too, it can be a very, very precarious and too much of a risk to get the second bump from Blue Falcon. This track and I think like Silence are 2 examples of that, because you're going like on a diagonal part of the track when you're supposed to get the second bump from him, and it's just the movement of these CPUs and diagonal parts of tracks are just they're very jagged, if you will, highly unpredictable.
Yeah, one of the most challenging aspects of this game as a speedrun is the random CPUs all over the track.
Oh yes, that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's many of these orange cars driving around very slowly, and they tend to get in your way in the most awful spots. And yeah, the Fire Stingray is the fastest car in the game, but it also has the slowest acceleration. So it's really a big problem if you bump into one of them and you lose a lot of speed. It takes, if you don't have an S yet ready to make up for it, you can lose a major amount of time just by having to accelerate at top speed again.
Yes, that is very much the case. And sometimes, you know, if you're speedrunning this game, a smart thing to do is keep an extra S-jet. Just save one from the first lap you get one, and then just use them normally. So if you ever do have an accident, it can save you seconds that you would otherwise lose. But yes, thank you for bringing up the random CPU generation. These guys, they show up, they generate randomly, but where they are in the track is, for the most part, you go around in a big circle, there's wind, there's these arrows which make you go super fast. They help negate the wind, and spots where you just can't do anything to avoid a CPU, whether it's slowing down or I mean, really, actually, yeah, sorry, that's the thing you would have to do, is either slow down or crash into it. Basically, it forces you to do one of those 2 things, and so you just have to lose time.
This is the NASCAR of F-Zero.
Right. Yes, in F-Zero, though, we like to turn right. But yes, generally that is the idea of this track. You go around in a big circle, there's wind, there's these arrows which make you go super fast. They help negate the wind, and oh, whoops, it's definitely 2 rail strats there.
Well, F-lap.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this track's pretty straight. Damn it, I did it again. Oh yeah. As you can tell, I'm half awake right now, so just bear with me. One of the other things that I mentioned about CPUs, when you get 2 CPUs that generate together, they become much more difficult to avoid. Like that, for example, what'll happen is one might throw another back. when you go to try to pass them, sometimes one might shoot out from the side with no indication as to when it's going to happen. So the best thing you can do if you want to play it really safe is stay as far to the side of the track as you can from the CPUs and just hope that if one does pop out, you've given yourself enough space to try and actually avoid making
There's a few of the blinking CPUs. Those are about to explode any moment. And sometimes they make a sudden move like to a side, getting your way, so it's best to go around them in a bit of a distance.
So, like I said, for Deathwind 1, I will do a first place finish. As it happens, the speed you're traveling is just so great that Golden Fox just doesn't catch up quickly enough. The one way you can sort of get him to catch up quickly is if there's a CPU that's generated close to the finish, and if you ram into it, that allows you to decelerate quickly enough and get the CPU behind you to catch up. But that's pretty much just whenever the game presents that opportunity. Alright, so
that turn is really difficult to take, and Edward just took it almost perfectly on the first lap. Like you will see on the boost laps, he will wait with the S-Jet until right after that turn to get back up to full speed and get through the next section.
Yeah, this S-turn will cause lots and lots of restarts and time trialing as far as trying to get it perfectly. Boost laps, in order to do it optimally, what you want to do is you do want to cut that first corner of the first turn and the second corner of the second turn. All that speed that you do lose is immediately made up with that S-Jet that Wilder was mentioning about using there.
So you can see him also using a wall bounce there after at the end of the S-Jet. That's just the fastest way to take the corner consistently. Just take it as really sharply as he does, cutting the rails and hitting the wall. And but the S-Jet's still active. You're immediately back up to full speed anyway. And jumps also increase your speed, so you can get some speed back here.
Yes, that is true. At 40 kilometers per hour for every jump plate you hit, so definitely very handy when you're short on top speed. Okay. One more.
If you're already on top speed, then it doesn't matter, right?
What's up?
But if you're already on top speed, then the jump plates.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, actually you lose a little bit of time by going.
That's it goes kind of like you'll see it whenever you hit a jump plate, it'll waver a bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think the only track I felt like I did decently on in this league was Sand Ocean, and maybe I don't know how I did on Big Blue, but everything else was kind of meh. So.
For me as a viewer, it looked pretty good.
Sweet.
It's a speed run, so with the CPUs, you never know.
Yes. Alright, so here you don't want to hit the A button too soon, otherwise the game just glitches out in a really weird way and actually loses about like 7 or 10 seconds.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, if you mash the A button just as it's about to go in that final cutscene, I'll do it at the end of King League. It's a really, and it's like all you're trying to do is just save like a few frames, and the mistake ends up costing you like 7 seconds just by hitting it too early. So as I always say, this league is probably one of my favorites in the game. It's, as far as single saving goes, it's filled with the most shortcuts. It's got a ton of jump shortcuts, and even this track does, and to some degree. It's not a very exciting one, just go over some dirt, but Each track following this has some sort of jump plate time-saving shortcut, all with varying degrees of payout and risk of death.
Yeah, the one on Mute City 2 is not too risky. Just getting across some dirt.
No, yeah, this is easy stuff here. I realized I just said that too after I missed one of the jump plates on the second lap, so maybe not so much. I'm sure as you guys can see too, some of those CPUs, they just generate, the flashing will just generate like a mine in the middle of the track. There's been a few in some really nasty locations. I don't know if they're, how those are generated or if they can be put anywhere on the track, but they can end up in pretty bad places sometimes.
I experimented with save state right before a lap and tried to go for an F lap and just see if I could manipulate where the CPUs would be. And it even mattered how I took the final corner before entering the lap, where they would be. But it was predictable, but only from the moment you enter the lap.
Okay, so you can like have it just for like those first few bits.
Yeah,
That was really close, right?
I think it will be very, very difficult to manipulate it all the time.
Alright, so Port Town 1, this has, I think, the biggest, most time-saving shortcut in the game, and it'll be the same as well on Port Town 2. Okay, good. Passing him can be a little tricky sometimes. Yeah, you'll see what it is in a bit, but essentially saves about 1.5 seconds per attempt, and so you can save up to about 6 seconds.
Like this one.
Yeah, so what you will see here is you will jump to another part of the road, and the referee will actually pick you up and put you back on the track, which would normally cost you a lot of time, but if you use the S-jet to get up to max speed immediately, you actually win, like, I believe, for 1 or 2 seconds per lap.
Yep, no, exactly. You know, you save a huge chunk of time by, yeah, because that's the thing, it's like, the game just resets you at a speed of 0, so you're forced to boost here, but it definitely saves a lot of time that's well worth putting the effort into. Oop. Okay.
So is this random, like how fast they catch up with you?
The I haven't tested it a whole lot, but the variation can be like, I think the time saved can be like anywhere from like 0.5 to like 0.6 seconds. So how much time it varies isn't too much to the point where it'll add up as being terribly significant.
So this is a really precise shortcut. So what he's doing is landing on the back side of the last jump plate. Only by landing on the back side of it, you can actually take a cut from the corner and win a little bit of time.
Exactly, yep. Yeah, you have to land on that back half of that jump plate, and the only way to do that is by going off this jump plate right here, the second one, and that gives you that extra distance you need to cross that gap. This shortcut saves, I believe, hopefully I don't know if I'm ever changing my numbers up, but I'm gonna go with 0.3, because I think that's what it is. Either that or just like 0.4, but you can, yeah, per lap. So you save maybe 1.5 to 2 seconds in total. Oh, God. That one didn't feel too good. Made it, but that deep down inside, I had a little. My heart sank a bit.
Yeah.
Don't like the angle I'm coming in on that one.
Yeah, doing that final lap is more scary.
So for this one to do first place finish, it's just because that final turn is so close to the finish. What happens is the CPUs, even though they're behind you, they'll slow down a lot, and because of that corner, and they don't rubber band quickly enough to have their speeds reset to what your speed is. That's at least what I'm assuming is happening because they never ever seem to catch up quickly enough. So for this opener lap here, I do a kind of modified version of the shortcut, and just mostly due to the fact that doing the full version of the shortcut is what's the word again? Yeah, unpredictable because of Golden Fox. He gets away and up the jump plate that you want to use to take the shortcut. Don't know what, I forget how much time the shortcut saves, but essentially all you do is just not that. But
so for this shortcut, you also try to land on the jump plate to cut the maximum amount of the corner.
Right. There's also a certain distance you're allowed to go, kind of like in Port Town 2. If you go too far trying to skip the track, you'll get reset by the referees. So you're essentially just trying to bring yourself right up to that point. There we go, and okay, perfect.
Yeah, just a little more, and the referee would step in.
And that's another one of those big, huge time loss. Plus, you also start back at a speed of 0 with no S-jet. Oops. Came in way too wide, tight. I don't even know. I messed it up though. So I'll say that S-jet at a pretty decent speed right now. CPU, yeah. That one was not worth the risk.
No. That didn't look possible.
Right. Yeah, I don't think, definitely, probably not. Alright. Okay. Okay.
Als hij eerst er ligt,
So,
en hij heeft een paddenstoel, zit hij eigenlijk nog een paddenstoel.
oops, next track, Whiteland 2.
In de sluiter.
Home of the double jump.
Going to go for it?
Yes. Absolutely.
Edward still.
So this track has probably the most risk with the least payoff as far as any shortcuts goes. In the opener, it saves much more time than it does in the following laps, just because each time I hit these jump plates, I'll get 40 kilometers per hour. So essentially what you do is you just use this jump plate to land on that jump plate.
Oh yeah.
And save a little time. On these 4 laps, each time you do it, if you do it correctly, save about 0.2 seconds. And you might just save a whole second if you do them all.
How much would you lose if you fail one? Well, this is like the best case scenario for failing it.
Yes, yeah. If you do mess it up, it's always good to land on the inside of the track. So, all smiles here. But yeah, you mess up, you can lose up to a minute and a half. It all just depends on the lap that you're doing. big time loss though.
It seems totally worth it in a single segment.
Oh yes. Oh god, can't get that to come over there. Oh.
Fighting.
Nice.
Okay. Oh. Man. Well,
Easy five.
no deaths, I'll take that. At least one successful jump there. So.
That actually happened before that I actually fell.
So solid Mute City 2, Port Town 1 was solid, Red Canyon 1, okay, I think I missed a shortcut there, and Whiteland 1 and 2 just bad.
Cool, is the single guard sitting in there.
Not a single 24. Alright. Okay. Okay. All the menuings out of the way. So, King League, last league of the game here. Longest league, and considered by a lot of people to be one of the most dreaded and, I guess, difficult leagues. Starts out with Mute City 3, which is really just Mute City 1 with a few little extra things in it. Those things being those explosive mines, as well as the little triangles on the long straight. Overall, it doesn't really do much to change the strat that you use on this track, so you just end up doing the same thing as you would on Mute City 1, and getting pretty much similar lap times.
Ze zijn wel goed uitgespeeld.
So if Legend has the world record on MC1, I suppose he has this one as well.
Oh yeah, he's got all three. He owns.
Yeah, but it's 3 times the same track more or less, right?
Yeah, Mute City 1 and 3 are pretty much the same. Mute City 2 is a little bit different, but
Similar or no?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So did he do like the cutting dirt patches without the S jet in New City 3 as well for all the laps?
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to think from Mute City. He did it from Mute City 1, of course.
Yeah.
Mute City 3, I think he did. He did do a run with the dirt cutting technique. And what they're talking about as far as the dirt cutting technique, I'm sure you guys may have noticed there's those dirt patches. You can actually go in between those. It's one of the most it's probably the most precise maneuver in this game, and Legend is very good at it. You do that, and then you use the S-jet towards the final hairpin, and that actually gets you a lap that can end up being at most, I think it's 6 or 7 frames faster than like the fastest safe strat lap. But so you save maybe a quarter of a second, but it's also infinitely more difficult. Definitely
Speaking of difficult, this track is pretty difficult.
yeah. So this is Deathwind 2. The track where you crash into walls. But basically what happens is you can't turn the Fire Stingray quickly enough, so the most optimal strategy you can do here is just crashing into walls and hoping for the best.
What a draw.
So that's one of those.
That's like one of the worst things that could happen with a CPU on this track.
Yep, they because you have such limited handling and maneuverability when you're using those, or when you're under the influence of the speed from that the super arrow here, that you pretty much just have to crash into them. Take the inside here.
Is this your favorite track?
Yes, absolutely.
I remember it.
Alright, a little more sloppy than I would have liked it to be, but yeah, that one's too far away for sure. So first place finish for this one. Okay, so Port Town 2. This track is basically Port Town 1, and they just opened up another part of it. And this part has a lot more back and forth turning, lots of hairpins. While Deathwind 2 is one of my favorites, and probably still is my #1 favorite, this is also another of my favorites as far as racing, because there's just, or playing this game, because there's just a lot of turns, a lot going on here. Keeps you on your toes. I was gonna say, oh, there it is now. So one of the interesting things with this track, no explanation for it at all, is the lack of CPU generation you get when you're using the shortcut. Sometimes they don't show up for the entire race. Sometimes they'll show up randomly in the. Oh, that's a thing. So yeah, sometimes the CPUs won't generate. Like for the entire race, sometimes we'll start second lap, third lap. Just happens to be a random little glitch in the game.
Also, if you look at the track map layout, you can see that's the exact same track they ported to F-Zero6 and added a little things here and there.
Right.
It looks so much bigger.
Yeah. Better take it safe in the final lap.
Yeah.
That was a nice dodge.
All right.
Also mixing felicity. It's the same too.
So yeah, Red Canyon 2. So this track is kind of one of the more chill tracks, I think, in this run. Just very long straightaways, not much happening.
I guess it's arguably easier than Red Canyon 1.
Yeah. Funny enough, it definitely is. These turns here at the end are. I think it's just a good part of it. Everything seems like it's a little bit more spread out, and makes it so you don't have to be as on the ready for what's coming up next.
CPUs are not cooperating.
Behaving as they like to. Ooh. Okay. Firefield, longest track in the game. So for this opener here, instead of swerving, just works out better to do a little bit of blast tapping to get the Blue Falcon to catch up to you.
It's a difficult CPU bounce to get, because if you get it too late, you get bumped into the mine and lose all your speed.
Yes.
And if you're up to the mines and you still didn't get it, then it's very difficult to maneuver in front of the blue falcon.
This track's a little bit like Deathwind 2, where you need to do a few wall bumps. Let's see. Those first two, just can't take those turns tight enough, and even though you could slow down, it just ends up saving you more time to crash into them and even keep more speed.
Some ice on the fire field.
Yeah, the text of my game.
And this part where the mines can be difficult with the CPUs, because there's also a chance that they run into a mine and get bounced in your path.
Gonna go for the wall bounce there. Yeah, sometimes depending on how you're cutting through those, that little kind of back and forth snaking area with the area that snakes back and forth using the S-jet, if it ends up looking like it's going to be too tight, just crash into the wall. It's a nice little safe strat. Only ends up costing maybe about 1/10 of a second. Ooh, I wanted the inside. Thank you, Fox.
Get somebody ready on time. It's almost.
Oh wait, I could do that now, but I got it.
Done? Okay, alright, I'll take it.
Nice run, man.
Thanks. Yeah, the Port Town, obviously Port Town 2 killed it, but
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, I guess I'll show this glitch too at the end here.
You got 1 more hour.
If you guys want me to play one more, I'll play one. I know it's late, so I know I'm the one keeping everyone here. So if you guys want me to play, I'll play. If you want to go and sleep, we can.
You have a time attack slot for 1 hour scheduled, so.
Okay. I will do it. Yeah, no, I'm more than happy because to do it. I'm gonna try and do Whiteland 1. I'd like to get a PB. I don't think it'll happen, but I sort of think it might. It's okay. So, and then this happens if you do that, and then the game just and you can't do anything to stop it.
Oh, wow.
So
Just crazy.
Till now, after all this year, we learn things about the game.